There we go. We should be live, everybody. Maybe. I've gotten no notifications. We might not be live. Who knows? With me at the controls, you never know.
See if we got any YouTube notifications.
Nah, there we go. We got a few people watching.
There we go. Yeah, it's live on YouTube.
Very good. We're good. Yeah, we have a no bueno show tonight.
No bueno.
No bueno. We'll see how it goes. So we're talking about virtuals tonight. And I got to adjust a little bit. How do I? I wish I knew how to use Scott's soundboard so I could adjust things a little bit. I have no idea.
Don't break it.
I know. See, I can't hear myself, but you're super loud, and I don't know how to change that.
There's usually a master volume button for the audio that's coming into your headphones.
There we go. I got an input level. I turn that down, and then I can turn me up.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, good enough. All right, I guess we're fine. We'll make do. All right, Jim says they can hear me. That's good. All right. Yeah, no, Scott usually just has his headphones on like
blast.
Like it's like so incredibly loud. It's crazy. Okay.
It's like you need to get your hearing checked, dude.
Right. Okay. I think I have no notes in front of me. Normally I have notes on like what to do where, so we'll see. We're just gonna wing it tonight.
Yay.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. In 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30, which means it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. As you can see, my name's Shorty Knits, but Scott is out on assignment, so we have a very no bueno show tonight.
No bueno.
We have my co-host on my virtual left tonight, Chaz427.
Howdy, y'all. Let's talk virtuals.
That's right, Chad. Tonight is episode 785, recorded live on September 27th, 2023. And we are going to be talking about all the places that need a virtual. Phone lines are open. You know, Chad and I have a few ideas, but we want to hear your ideas. Tell us what needs a virtual. Phone lines are open. Make sure you give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808. I'm making that very clear. That is 808 got swag. Or to play it safe, or for international callers, you can always give us a call for free via the web at callinstudio.com/show/GCPC. But first, we always have to talk about Patreon.
Got to pay those bills.
We have to pay those bills. As you all know, we say it every week. It costs a lot of money to make this podcast work. We can really use your help. We do appreciate all of our current subscribers. Don't forget all of the benefits that you get as a patron. We have extra audio, extra video. It's been a while since we've done some extra audio. I think we're due for that. Lots of extra video, path tags, stickers, end of the year giveaway.
Definitely.
We are coming up on that. We're already starting to make some plans for that. Lots of good stuff. So you can always go to patreon.com/thegeocachingpodcast if you would like to join the other side. Or as always, you can give a one-time donation. We appreciate every little bit. It doesn't matter if it's $1, $5, $10, buy a cup of coffee, however you want to work that. Every penny helps. It goes. You can go to paypal.me/thegeocachingpodcast. I don't know where the buttons are.
Promotional considerations.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
It's also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbooks are designed for the micro container of the present and future, geared toward the hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tells, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, then you've come to the right place. Give them the opportunity to show you how they can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by PatTags.com for all your swag and PatTag needs. Visit our website to get creative help, to trade or log tags, or to purchase your own personalized PatTags. With over 49,000 tags to collect, PatTags.com is everything you need to start your PatTag obsession. Visit them at PatTags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures, LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventures for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting them at geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where-I-Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you are an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with the powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting them at geogo.com. That's GEOOH-go.com.
And as always, you can find links to all of our sponsors on our website or
in our show notes.
Show notes are, we post out there to the public exactly what we see. Everything we're reading, all of the links, everything we talk about is in our show notes. You can always go on our website at geocachingpodcast.com and check that out. We have links to everything there. So
I got mail! Yay! I got mail! Yay!
I found the button on the music panel. We do have an email. We have an email from a new listener, and it says, my geo name is Trek. He says, I'm assuming I apologize if you're not. It's always so hard to tell from a geocaching name.
That's right. And even sometimes you get them like Stealth Cowboy and Big Guy in Texas, which are both women.
Are women, right?
Yeah.
You can never tell. So we'll call everyone they. So they say, I'm new to your show and I enjoy it very much. My first show was episode 784. So that was just last week. So very new. So we talked about archiving caches last week. So they go on to say, I agree with refreshing the game board, but also archiving old caches will make it harder or impossible for new players to fill in the grids. I'm working on finding caches by months placed, and the early years are getting harder and harder to find. I say save the old caches, maybe just refresh the actual cache or the description. I look forward to catching up on your old programs as I make my long drives. Cheers from San Diego. Yeah, and that's very true. That's always, controversial topic
Right.
of if an old cache goes missing and the original hider is no longer active, what do you do with that? As a community, I think most of us probably agree. You keep them going, especially the 2000, 2001, 2002, anything.
Right.
My
Definitely those. But, as time goes by, some of those 2003s, 4s, 5s, 6s the board gets thinner, and it's fine for it to get thinner, but we don't want to be in a August 2000 like situation where we got 4 caches in the world.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of old caches, tonight we're talking about virtuals. And when I first started caching anyway, there were no new virtuals.
Mhm.
So we're gonna spend a few minutes talking about their history, and a little bit more just about virtuals in general, and then we have a list that Chad and I have put together of places we think need virtuals. But if you guys have ideas, give us a call. Let us know. Tell us in the chat room if you don't want to call in. I get it. Yeah, someone says if Mingo goes missing, someone has to replace it.
Yes.
That's happened many times, and it has been replaced several times.
Although if it gets archived, I will have the oldest cache found at that point. Oldest active cache found, because I've got the one that is a day after Mingo was placed.
Oh, but was that Beverly?
It's one of the ones either in Oregon or Washington. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, it's the day after Mingo's date.
Okay. Yeah, I know Beverly is up there. I don't know if I can't remember dates. I'm not good with numbers, even though I love math. I can't remember numbers or dates. So virtuals are technically a quote legacy cache type.
Mhm.
They were available not quite from the beginning, but pretty early on. And then they stopped publishing in 2005. And from 2005 to 2017, there were no new virtual caches that were placed. And so a lot of people put out challenges, find all of the active virtuals in your state. Right? And I got within like less than a handful left. And then all of a sudden, all these new
Virtual rewards came out.
started coming out, right? So there have been three rounds of virtual rewards, starting in 2017, another in 2019, and then a third in 2022. I was fortunate enough, and Scott was fortunate enough to get one of the ones from 2022. So we both are proud owners of a virtual cache. And there's a fourth round that's coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
This one is they're making it a little bit. They're doing it a little bit different to be eligible to get one. In the past, people have had to opt in. They have to meet certain criteria, and there are some criteria that you need to meet. So, do you want to go through this, Chad?
Sure.
What do people need to do? Because I know you're going to try to qualify, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what you need to do.
So on January 17th of 2024, geocaching headquarters will randomly select up to 4,000 eligible geocachers. How do you become eligible? Well, the recipients will have, hang on, where does it say this? Okay. You have to have published a non-event geocache during 2023 that has earned at least 4 favorite points by December 31st of 2023. So by the end of the year, you'll have to get 4 favorite points on a cache that you published this year. You also must have created your geocaching account before June 13th of this year. So anyone that's coming late or who is trying to use a
Sock puppet.
sock puppet account, that's not going to work. Prior virtual rewards recipients will still be eligible to participate. So just because you got it before doesn't mean you won't get it again. And players who opted in for the virtual reward 2.0 and 3.0 but did not receive a virtual cash will have a higher likelihood to receive a virtual reward 4.0, which that will be me if I get a cash out there and that cash gets 4 points. 4 favorite points or higher. I still haven't put my cash out. I need to get it out there ASAP.
So I'm curious. All it says is non-event caches, right?
Right.
So I wonder if my virtual would qualify.
Should.
I mean, it should, right?
It should, and that's a easy, almost guaranteed 4 favorite points if you already had a if you put it out there this year.
That's what I'm trying to remember. I think so because I think it had to go out by like March or something, right? February, March. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I'm trying to bring it up real quick. Of course, I'm on Scott's computer, so I'm logged in as Scott, and so let's look at closest virtuals here because I don't think Scott has found it. It is the closest unfound cache for Scott. So I hit it. Yeah, February 2nd of 2023, and I already have 24 favorites.
All right, so you're in.
So I'm in. All right. So then once they select these 4,000 people in January, and they are going to try to distribute them geographically so that it makes sense. So you don't have 3,500 of them in North America or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Recipients will then have 1 full year to create their virtual cache and submit it for review. And let's see, and all geocaching community volunteers, so reviewers, moderators, translators, etc., everybody, all of the volunteers who qualify will automatically get one. They have to qualify, but they will get one. I think that's great. I think that's
awesome.
That's a really nice thank you. There are, of course, guidelines for virtuals that are a little bit different than other types of caches, such as there is no proximity requirement because there's nothing physical.
No physical cache, right?
Right. So you can put them right on top of each other. You can put them at a traditional or any other cache type. There's no proximity. And the other big difference is you can place vacation virtuals. So you can't place a traditional cache somewhere that's not near your home location when you place it. But you can place a virtual away from your home. They are only saying that you have to have visited that location within 2 months of submitting it. Within the previous 2 months of submitting it. So you go on vacation, you're like, oh, this is a fantastic spot. You can submit it for virtual.
Right. So because there's virtually no maintenance.
That is very true. I like that.
That pun.
That is very funny. Everything else is pretty much the same as, other caches. You really should have permission, etc., that kind of thing. So I hope tonight, with this coming up, I hope this will get people to start thinking about virtuals because virtuals really are one of my favorite cache types. I love finding virtuals. I definitely will stop for the old original virtuals. And I'm getting to the point where like the 2017s, 2019s, I'll make sure I stop for those. So I hope tonight we kind of get people thinking about where will you put one if you get one. So I have a couple ideas, just throwing this out there for inspiration. There is in the geocaching.com help section, there is a whole article on virtual inspiration. And I have a link to that in our show notes. We can go through that in a little bit, but I'll throw that out there. And then other ideas like websites like Atlas Obscura. There's a lot of different websites like that. That's just one of my favorites. I really like that one. And then books. I have a book. I'm not sitting at my desk, so I don't have it right in front of me. But I have a book that's called Oddball Illinois, and it's all these like just weird and wacky places in Illinois that are perfect virtual locations, in my opinion. So there's lots of resources like that. So it's out there.
Yeah, I when I created my adventure lab out here, I looked for oddities in Sacramento, and so that's why mine's so scattered around.
Sure.
But I thought it was fun. So
yeah, and I went on Atlas Obscura and looked at places nearby that didn't already have a virtual. That is getting to be the problem, is that there's such great places. You're like, oh, that definitely needs a virtual, and then
Right.
I go and look. Oh, there already is one there. So I mean, people are putting them with their rewards, their newer ones. So
yep.
Jim RKY says there's a porch in Illinois close to Chicago that I'd put a virtual on, but I don't think the landowners would let me. A virtual. What would you make the requirement? Just a picture of the porch? Pick a season. I do decorate it for different seasons. It looks really nice right now. It's all decorated for fall. Here I am assuming he's talking about our porch. I don't know. Maybe there's another porch.
Yeah, there might be.
There might be. You have to listen to 50 shows. Yeah. That's funny. So if you get a virtual, Chad, where are you going to put it? You going to tell us?
It's going to be in New Orleans. I'm not telling you exactly where, but it'll be in New Orleans.
And there's not one there already?
There's not one there at that location already.
Okay. All right. So that is not on your list, but you do have a few others on your list.
Exactly. I wasn't going to put it on my list because it's like, I'm not telling.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll start with my list. The very first one that came to mind when we started talking about this show was Navy Pier here in Chicago. Navy Pier is a big tourist area right in downtown Chicago, right on the water, right on Lake Michigan. And there used to be a virtual there, and it was a really fun one. There's these like wacky mirrors on Navy Pier, and you had to go there and take a picture at the wacky mirror and post that on your log. It was really fun, and it got archived. So I think Navy Pier needs a new virtual.
Yep. I can agree with that.
All right, what's on your list?
And I'm sure there was a virtual here at one point, but it's no longer there. It's a Monument Circle in downtown Indianapolis. So this was a Soldiers and Sailors monument. I think it was built in like 1906 for the Civil War vets, but it's also kind of grown into all wars and stuff like that. And then during the holiday season, it's used as a Christmas tree at 280 feet. It is the tallest Christmas tree, faux Christmas tree in the world. The ponds on either side turn into ice skating rinks, and you can rent skates on and go skating around the ponds. And there's, I'm sure, a ton of other interesting factoids. There is a tiny museum inside. So it's not huge, but it's a tiny museum
inside the monument.
Inside the monument itself. It's kind of like walking down this very small stairwell in order to get into it. But it's a great place to visit, and it's iconic. Whenever you see a sporting event in Indianapolis, you always get a shot of Monument Circle. So
yeah, I've been there. Is that where the clock is? There's a newer monument in
there. So are you talking about the steam clock or the water clock?
The steam clock.
The steam clock is over by the I want to say it's the Natural History Museum,
Okay.
kind of close to Idle George Museum, which is along the Riverwalk.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that is also that's a very interesting one. It plays Back Home Again in Indiana.
The
So
clock plays that. Is that
the clock plays in Steam.
nice? Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
cool.
I've done that one.
Okay. So there is a virtual there already.
There is a virtual there already. I've done it.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would have been on my list.
Okay. See, people are starting to find these really cool places. That's a newer thing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Next on my list, Aztec Ruins National Monument. And I'm just going to put this out there as a blanket.
Mhm.
I think that all national parks and all national monuments need a virtual cache. Obviously, most of them you cannot put traditional caches, physical cache containers. Many of them already have earth caches, but I think every single one, if they don't already, should have a virtual. I know we have the Pullman. What is it called? It's a national monument here in Chicago. It's a Pullman thing down on the south side.
Suitcase?
What? No, it's not a suitcase. It's a gosh darn it. What is it called? The Pullman.
You're not talking about the bean, are you?
No. Pullman National Monument. Yeah, it's just called
Pullman?
Pullman National Monument. It's in Chicago, and that just recently got a virtual reward. And so
Okay.
yeah, so I think all national parks, national monuments, whatever it is, national something needs a virtual for sure.
Definitely.
As long as you have cell signal, because you know my story, right? When I was on a road trip,
Mm-hmm.
it was not a caching trip. I was with my mom and my son. I know I've told this story, so I'll keep it short. But I was with my mom and my son, and so it was not a caching trip at all. It was just a sightseeing, spend family time together kind of a trip. And we got all the way through. I can't remember if it was Zion. It must have been Zion National Park. And I realized that I never once checked to see if there were caches inside the park. And of course, it's full of earth caches.
Right.
There might even be a virtual or two there, I'm sure.
Great.
And so I went, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That was so silly. So then, of course, like when we went to Death Valley and a couple other places, I made sure to get those. So like Death Valley has the virtual and the earth cache at whatever it is, minus 900 feet or whatever the lowest elevation is.
Yeah, that's like national parks. I've always got offline. I usually have offline anyways, but it's like you can never count on cell reception in a national park.
Right. So yeah. So if
That's not their priority.
No, and it wasn't mine when I went. That's why like I didn't even think about it until after, and then I made sure I pulled everything offline because we had no signal in parts of Zion, of course. So, okay. So next on my list, again, Atlas Obscura is the coolest website ever. If you don't know what that is, just go and click on places and click on show me a random place, and it will take you all over the world. It is the coolest thing. So I found one that's the Olivastri Millenari in Lourdes, Italy. And it is one of the oldest trees on earth. It's a 38-year-old
38,000.
3,800-year-old.
Or 3,800.
3,800-year-old olive tree in Italy. The pictures of this thing are so cool. So, and I have a link to the Atlas Obscura page, of course, in our show notes. But that would be a really cool thing to have a virtual. And I think there's another one right nearby that's like almost as old. It's not quite as old.
I wonder if Joshua Tree has one.
It should if it doesn't.
It should if it doesn't.
Yep, it definitely.
So someone will look it up.
Somebody will tell us. Someone knows. Someone's been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine, I can guarantee you, next one does not have cell reception.
Okay.
and it is the Mount Awashan Plank Walk. So if you guys have ever, you might have seen this on TV, but if you ever seen in China and they got this clear sheer cliff face, and you're walking on like a about a 2x4 plank, and you're clipping into the cable and walking along there, and there's nothing below you. And
That's a big nope for me.
yeah, that it's like there has to be something in the middle there where you got information about it, and that can only be gotten by getting there and making someone walk out there. Yeah, that would be definitely a 5 terrain.
Oh my gosh, I would never find it ever.
You need an extra 5 for the change in your drawers.
You should be able to log that twice.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a hard pass for me. I am so terrified of heights. I am so scared of heights that I literally froze doing virtual reality. I literally,
Okay.
I was like trying to cross a bridge in this VR game that we were in like a big VR arena thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to cross a bridge on a spaceship or something, and I couldn't. I was so terrified. I think that's
I've had vertigo in video games before, but then again, I've also like walked out on the glass on the Space Needle replica in Vegas, and ride the coasters and that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's like, my heart flutters, but I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the deck, the sky deck at the Sears Tower or Willis Tower, whatever it's called now. I've done things like that, but I don't know. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more terrified.
Yeah, I would give myself about a 75% chance of actually walking out on it if I were ever to get there.
Yeah.
But there's a slim chance that I would not.
Yeah.
It's like
no.
You just don't know until you're actually there.
Yeah, I would definitely not. Cody wants to know, does the horseshoe walkout in the Grand Canyon have a virtual? I don't know. What? Someone go check. I have no idea. Let's see. And Bella on the Move wants to know, do virtuals qualify for a state souvenir? Yeah. If your first cash in a state is a virtual, that qualifies you for a souvenir. The only thing that doesn't get you a souvenir is Adventure Labs. Everything else will get you a souvenir. All right. So next on my list is, again, another one I found in Atlas Obscura.
I think that might be called Below the Rim. There's definitely multiple virtuals out there, and if I believe where the horseshoe is at, there is a cache that's close to it, or there is a virtual that is close to it, but I haven't pulled up the virtual to see specifically if it is directly associated with the horseshoe or not.
Okay, but there are definitely virtuals at the Grand Canyon,
right?
Yeah, for sure. Again, should always be one there.
Should,
for sure. Okay, so next on my list is a place I found on Atlas Obscura called Fingal's Cave in Isle of Staffa in Scotland. There is currently already there's currently a earth cache there, but that's it. That's the only cache on that whole island. And if you go and look at pictures, it is the coolest thing. Like, I can't even imagine being there. It looks massive, first of all, and it is this huge geometric cave that just goes up as far as you go, and it's on an island off of Scotland. So it is very cool.
Yeah,
virtual.
There's a few places like that have that same structure. There's a place out here in California. I can't remember what the name of it is, and the one out here in California does have a virtual, but you got the it's like the stones grew in hexagonal pylons.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think it's called giants something or a giant's foot building blocks. I don't know, something like that
Okay.
out here.
Oh,
But
that's a good
it's
name because that's what it looks like. It looks like giant columns of
right.
building blocks. Yeah, I mean giant. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of California, one that I have on my list is Golden Gate Viewpoint, which
Mm.
is an area. It's like a a scenic pull off, a scenic pull out, whatever that's called. That is up above the Golden Gate Bridge, and so it's like a pull out, and then there's a hike that kind of goes down to an area with a spectacular view of the bay and the bridge and everything.
Yeah, it's there at the edge of Battery Park,
Mhm.
where there used to be a military battery and stuff in there. It's one of the best viewpoints of Golden Gate Bridge that you'll ever find.
Yeah, the pictures.
And I was surprised that there wasn't a virtual there.
Right.
It was like I thought about Golden Gate Bridge, and I was like, I've done a virtual on either side of the bridge. I didn't even think about the viewpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was I saw pictures of it and went, "Oh, that's really cool," because you could do a lot with that.
Yep.
And another one that I found. This is a little different. This is at the Palencia Cathedral in Palencia, Spain. There's on this cathedral there are around the top and the outside. I want to explain it correctly. There are carvings all around, and some of these carvings are a little bit unusual. One of them being a gargoyle that looks like it's holding a camera, and it's going straight out like horizontally from the side of the church. It looks like anyway in the pictures.
Mhm.
And if you read through the article that I link to, of course, to Atlas Obscura, they talk about some of the other renovations that they've done to the church, and there's like extraterrestrial, and there's all kinds of like weird stuff on this church, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, this particular gargoyle looks like a friar, a monk that is taking a picture.
Right.
And this was built in the 1700s, and it's like, did they update that afterwards?
It's weird, right?
It's weird.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah, that needs a virtual.
That definitely needs a virtual.
Yeah. What else on your list?
I've got Christ of the Abyss. So there were 3 statues of Christ that were made of bronze sculptures that were cast from the same mold, and 2 of them are in underwater. So one in Italy and one in Key Largo is underwater. The one in Spain, I believe, is dockside. You can put a virtual there too, I guess, but having a virtual something that's that cool that has a scuba attribute, I think that would be really cool. So I don't know, maybe there are some virtuals out there that has scuba attributes on it, but we need some scuba virtuals.
We definitely need scuba virtuals. Let's see if I can do a quick search. I have my search here. Let's see. I gotta find scuba. Where is scuba? 1 second. Scuba gear required. Okay, let's search. Let's see if there's any. There are a handful, probably 30 maybe. Virtuals with the scuba attribute. Hawaii looks like, Southwest Reef. Yeah, they're kind of all over. Pirate's Booty. Well, that one might be French. I'm not sure. I don't know where they are. But yeah, there are a few. But I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We need more.
Except that I'll never find them because I don't know how to swim. Have we ever talked about that on the show?
I don't think we talked about you not knowing how to swim.
I do not know how to swim. Nope.
How did you grow up and not know how to swim?
I even had a pool in my backyard as a kid, and I
Wow.
faked it, like I don't know. I would jump in and kind of doggy paddle to the side, and I never let anybody know that I didn't really know what I was doing. And I could never, like, I can fake it from one end to another, but actual form
Actual
swimming,
swim.
no.
So you weren't required like in high school or junior high to swim and
Mm-mm.
wow, our gym classes had us swimming. So
No. If I had stayed in Korea, I would have had to, because they did have to swim there, but I moved away early enough. So I don't know. I just never learned. And I mean, I made my kid take lessons. He's a great swimmer. I thought about taking lessons with him when he was like 5, but no, I just never learned. I don't know. Just hope I don't ever
need it.
need it, right? I'd be in trouble. Okay, next on my list. Sorry, that was a little tangent. Next on my list is Spotted Lake in British Columbia, Canada. Have you ever seen Spotted Lake?
No.
In the summer, the water evaporates and it leaves little mineral pools, and they're
Okay.
all different colors.
Ah, cool.
So yeah, pictures of it are really cool. There is an earth cache there, and then nearby there's a traditional, but there's no virtual there. So that would be really cool.
Right. There's a bunch of the ones in Yellowstone National Park, because this kind of reminds me with the different colors and stuff. Have I mean, all of them have earth caches,
Mm-hmm.
but only so many of them have virtuals, and I think more of them could use virtuals, and maybe more of them have virtuals now, because when I went there in 2015, the virtual rewards hadn't come back, so.
Sure.
And I did not go and take a look. I should have looked for more of these, but I expected our callers to be calling in and making suggestions.
I know, me too. Yeah, me too. Come on, callers. What do you got? They just want to hear all our ideas. They're taking
Yeah.
notes.
They're taking notes, so it's like, okay, I'm going to go put this one out.
Well, yeah, Neltra just said, I'll have to put my new virtual at Spotted Lake. Yeah, when you
Yeah.
get one, Neltra. So locals, I have an idea for you. Well, I mean, Wisconsin, that's pretty localish. It's not Canada. My idea, I need to go here. Whether there's a virtual at this place or not, this is on my bucket list of places that I want to go.
Mhm.
There's a company in Verona, Wisconsin. It's outside of Madison, called Epic, EPIC. Google Epic in Verona, Wisconsin. The company's headquarters is there, and it's this massive campus that's absolutely insane. It's like every building, every garage, every courtyard, everything is all different themes. So there's like an Alice in Wonderland theme. There's like
Awesome.
I mean, storybook with there's like Harry Potter world. There's like all these different, it's all like fantasy. It's just amazing. And they invite you to go on self-guided tours. So they're open every day. You can go there and pick up a guide and walk through the campus. And I mean, the pictures of it look really cool. And so I put a little quote here in our show notes that I pulled off of their website. The website, by the way, is epic.com. And it says, we welcome visitors to our intergalactic headquarters during specific times throughout the week and on weekends. Stop by our registration desk to pick up a map for a self-guided tour. As you explore, you may encounter magic on our Wizards campus, see some familiar faces on our Storybook campus, or even encounter some furry friends on our functioning farm. Staff use cow bikes, cow golf carts, or cow vans to move across campus. So you guys check this place out. There are no caches there whatsoever. There needs to be at least a virtual. I feel like people need to see this place. It's pretty cool. It is out there. So It's called Epic, epic.com in Verona, Wisconsin.
Okay, I don't believe there is a cache at the Wave in Arizona. I don't think there is a virtual there, and I'm trying to pull up the correct cache or the correct address, and I think I got it wrong.
What's it called? The Wave?
The Wave.
The Wave in California. That's not the
No, in
the south.
Arizona.
Oh, in Arizona. Is that similar?
So it is
in Antelope Canyon. Yes,
Mhm.
is that what you're talking about?
I think that's where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely needs a virtual. Are people allowed to go out there though? I'm not sure if you can actually go there, but I mean, but either way, it's still a spectacular
you used to be
sight.
able to go out there, but now they limit the amount of traffic, and you're literally in a lottery system.
Oh, okay.
So maybe Groundspeak geocaching.com may not allow that because of that.
Right. And I'm spelling this wrong. No, I'm not spelling it wrong. There we go. Let's see if there's a virtual. There's one. Nope. That's not it. I know this is riveting podcasting here with us going, well, let me search this. Pipe Spring National Monument has one. I don't see. There's Canyon Point. It's right near Bryce Canyon. I'm not sure if there's one there or not. There might be. Antelope. Kodachrome. No, I mean, there are some virtuals in that area, but Jim says you have to have a permit through advanced or daily lotteries for hiking Coyote Buttes North, the Wave.
Right.
Yeah, that would be cool. That place is awesome.
Yeah, I think it got hot a few years ago. Became popular.
Oh, sure.
And they just was getting too much traffic, and they instituted a lottery system to reduce the traffic.
Yeah, I think a lot of like touristy places, especially the national parks, and I think they're all kind of that way. I mean, when I was at Zion in middle of December, it was packed. There was tons of traffic and tons of places. Some of the parking areas, there was nowhere to park.
Right.
They were all pretty full. Okay, next one on my list. Have you ever heard of the Hand in the Desert in Chile?
No, I haven't.
It is a piece of art in the middle of the desert in Chile that is like the top of the hand reaching up.
And that is art. That is not.
That
nature.
is definitely art. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's definitely art. It's a sculpture, but it looks like sand. Like it's made to look like it's the earth.
Right.
Yeah. There is a traditional somewhat nearby, but it's pretty far away. There's not a virtual there for it. So I thought that would be a good place.
Kind of looks like an alien hand to me.
Yeah. Long there, yeah. Kind of
elongated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that would make a good virtual.
Yeah, for sure. And then another art installation is the Heidelberg Project in Detroit. Have you seen this? This is in downtown Detroit I think it's on the south side of Detroit. It's an outdoor art exhibit called the Heidelberg Project. Their website is heidelberg.org, and it's like blocks of just tons and tons of art outside that you can walk through. There are some caches, nice. There's some traditionals, a few traditionals, but there's no virtuals. So I thought that would be a great place. I love I love art, especially like obscure art kind of
Mhm.
virtuals. Like we have one here that's a virtual. It's one like an old virtual from the early days, and it is a house that has the whole entire yard is just stone sculptures, like weird, just really weird
Wow.
stuff, stone stacked up, and just all kinds of weird stuff. And it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Mhm.
So like stuff like that, I love those kinds of virtuals when they take you to places like that. So
I wonder if they put a virtual at the beer can house in Houston.
I don't know.
There's a house that basically the entire facade is made up of beer cans.
Really?
There was a traditional out in front of it. I know.
Okay. Well, if only Scott was there for a little extra time. That's ironically that's where he is right now, is in Houston. I'm looking real quick. There are a few virtuals in Houston, but I'm not seeing it right off the top of the bat. So, okay. So those are all like the specific things that we have. But I want to talk for a few minutes on like just kind of general categories, like we talked about national parks and national monuments all needing one. I feel the same way, and someone in our chat room agreed early on in the show, and I have their comment starred. Brent Sawyer says all the pro ballparks need one, and football stadiums. 100%. That is on my list. All professional sports stadiums, in my opinion, need a virtual. Some of them have traditional. Some of them have, Scott has an adventure lab at Wrigley Field here in Chicago does have a virtual as well, but there is not a virtual at Soldier Field. There's not one at what used to be Comiskey Park. If I say Comiskey, people might recognize what that is more than Guaranteed Rate, which is where the White Sox play now. I 100% agree. All professional sports stadiums should have virtual.
Definitely.
Okay, and then another kind of broad general category, webcams. Have you ever found a virtual that's actually a webcam?
I don't believe I have.
One of my favorite virtuals that I have ever done was a virtual that made use of an existing webcam, because you cannot put out a webcam cache anymore, but you can put out a virtual if you're given a virtual reward, and you can have that be an option for people. You have to give them another option because you can't make them take a picture.
Right.
But you can take a picture with this webcam as their option to log it. So that was really fun. It was like at a train museum or train depot kind of a thing. And so you had to either answer a question about the train car or take a picture or something like that. So that was really fun. What about airports? Do you think airports should have virtuals?
It depends on the airport. Most airports definitely have something in there that is unique and stuff that deserving of a virtual. A lot of them. I've been to one where the virtual was in Chicago. Was pretty friggin' lame.
The virtual at O'Hare.
I think it might have been O'Hare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to give the answer away, but
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one was one of it would fall into the category of one of the ones that for the reason virtuals were not archived, were
done away with
to begin with.
Right. I agree that one is not a fun one, but if you have a layover and you've never been to Illinois, that it's an opportunity to get a new state, get a new souvenir.
There isn't an excellent adventure lab there though.
Thanks. I particularly like that adventure lab. There used to be a virtual at Midway Airport, which is the other airport here in Chicago on the south side of Chicago, and that one's not there anymore. So
Yeah, we got a virtual at Sacramento Airport, which is it's the big. There's a piece of artwork that is a huge red bunny that is, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 feet in length.
50-foot red bunny at an airport.
Yes, hanging suspended as you're going down the escalator to get to the baggage area.
Okay.
So it's like that one's worth it.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So the only issue with putting virtuals at an airport is the whole, do you make it so you have to be inside the airport or outside the airport, And
Right.
so that's one of the reasons that I think Adventure Labs are a great alternative to virtuals at an airport, because you can play with your radius, although not as much as you used to be able to, but you can play with that radius a little bit so that you can at least have some of the stages inside, some outside, give people options.
Right. Well, this one is not behind the security, so
Okay.
you can actually access it
Mhm.
even if you are not taking a flight. So
Okay.
I think those are preferable, but some cases like the one the Earth cache in Denver,
Mhm.
the fossils are there in the floor, so
Right.
you don't have much of a choice but to be behind the security.
Right. Yeah. And I wonder if those would even be allowed with these rewards. Probably not. If you have to be on the inside of security, I don't know. That's a
Probably not.
probably not.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. Somebody test that out. Try to put one inside. I don't know, somewhere that doesn't have one. What about virtuals in cemeteries? Have you ever found a virtual in a cemetery?
Yes.
How do you feel about those?
I'm perfectly fine with those.
Okay. Would you prefer a virtual over a traditional in a cemetery? Or are you indifferent?
I'm a little indifferent, but so long as the traditional is placed with respect.
Yes. Agreed.
But I love a good virtual in the cemetery. I mean, there's one at the Jimi Hendrix.
Yep. That was one I was just thinking of.
All right, there is actually one in New Orleans that I did recently. I've been to a number of them where you got famous individuals,
Sure.
typically in cemeteries. Visiting those. Yep.
Or of course the famous Grotto.
The grotto. Mustard Devil. So he is the cache owner. He's actually a friend of mine. So.
Oh, of the Grotto.
Yeah, he created the person that created the grotto virtual is a friend of mine.
Okay, one of my favorite virtuals ever.
Yeah, I still never been there.
Oh, it
but
is.
I need to get there.
It is something to see, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, one last location that can be somewhat controversial, although I think we all have found them, and many of us. Actually, I don't have one hidden one. At college campuses, universities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did. There's one in Everett, Washington that is like it's Harry Potter themed. In the library, there's a library that they have in there that is like the hall in Harry Potter, and you need to take a picture at least over your GPS unit in the hall and inside there to get credit. And that one's really cool, I think.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Scorpion might be called Hogwarts or something like that.
I saw pictures of the actual place where that was based off of. Anyway, sorry, I'm thinking like four things at once, and my thoughts are not coming out right. Okay, so the Grotto is GC9CBB It's in Tennessee. It's in a cemetery. We've talked about it on the show before. It is such an amazing virtual. Everyone should go and see it. It has 781 favorites. It's only 50% of the finds. 50% go, meh, that's okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm all about finding virtuals on universities. I just not, I don't know, not when they're like swarming with people. Although
Right.
I guess I'm all right with it. All right, well, that's my list.
Yeah, it's a great list.
I think
I'm surprised we didn't have any callers.
Me too. Come on, guys. Email us. Tell us. What did we forget? Because we just like threw this list together.
Mm-hmm.
What did we forget? Tell us, where should somebody put a virtual reward when they get one in 3 months? That's coming up really quick. So here's just real quickly, I'll run through the inspiration tips from geocaching.com in their help section. So they say, choose your location wisely. Find an unusual spot, maybe one where tourists wouldn't normally go. Think about an adventurous location, maybe one that requires a hike in the mountains, for example, or maybe have to like shear the ledge of a cliff, like Chad suggested. Think of a place where physical cache wouldn't work well. Maybe because the cache could get muggled or maintenance would be too demanding, or if physical caches are not allowed there. Think about long term. Will this be a place that geocachers will still want to visit in 5 years? Consider having more than one stage. How do you feel about virtuals with multiple stages?
I don't particularly care for them. Well, it depends. If they're like right there together, it's fine. But there are several virtuals that are at Yosemite and that it takes you 45 minutes to do some of them, because you've got a several mile hike around the different points in order to get it. Now it's a good hike, mind you, but requiring that. I had my mother with me, who is not nearly as mobile, and so I kind of left them in the gift shop searching while I sprinted around to try to grab this, and it was a mistake.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of virtuals that like take a long. I'm not a fan really of any caches in general that take more than a few minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes tops, with the exception of Vampire Empire. That one is really cool. Go do Vampire Empire, which is a letterbox, not a virtual, but that one did take quite a while. But I did a virtual one time that was in a cemetery, and it was a small cemetery. It was like an old cemetery that was behind a strip mall, like in town. It was this weird cemetery, which was a really cool place for a virtual. However, you had to like take all these measurements and do calculations and gather information from like 8 different headstones. And it took, I don't know, it took like 45 minutes to do this. And literally the cemetery was like as big as my family room right here.
Right. And it doesn't sound like it had a storyline that you're progressing through. So I don't mind doing one if it has like a storyline that you're progressing through that's interesting. And I've done some Where I Goes that are like that are great, and even some adventure labs that were sequenced.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but if there's not really a point, like you're making people do this just to make
to do it. Right.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. Someone's asking for the GC on Vampire Empire, GC 1A 2T0. Okay, real quick, let's see what else. Consider creating your experience so it can be completed within 1 day. 1 day, Chad. That's what geocaching.com suggests. Yes.
1 day. No. If it exceeds the minutes on my hand,
that would be 5 for those listening.
Then that's too many.
Right. All right. So let's see. Yeah, everything else is just like if you require a photo, you can require a photo, but you cannot require a face to be visible. Consider having a photo of the cashier pointing at a landmark. I've seen it where you have to like write a specific thing on a piece of paper and hold the piece of paper up in front of whatever, something to prove that it's current.
I'm glad that they started allowing that again, because a camera is not a special tool these days. Maybe in 2000 it was a special tool, because not everyone, doing a film camera back then and converting it, because not everyone had digital cameras, but now everyone's got a smartphone,
Right.
or someone's with them with a smartphone that has a camera.
So we shouldn't require them to take a picture of their GPS app at the ground zero. I don't even carry.
I think as long as they took a picture there, that's good, because most people don't carry GPS units anymore.
My GPS is my phone. I can't take a picture of my phone with my phone.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, and here's their suggestion. Keep logging tasks relatively simple, or you will have a lot of extra work to verify them. I like that suggestion right there. Keep it simple.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's all we got. I think we gave some good ideas tonight. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I expect a bunch of new virtuals to be added early next year.
Yes, and I expect Atlas Obscura to have a whole bunch new signups.
Yes,
that's such a cool site. I like it. I have so many places, because you can like tag places on it, so you can say like I've been there, or I want to go here, or you can create lists. Like you can do all kinds of stuff. I have so many places on the I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. I'll never get to all of them. All right, well, let's see. Next week, Chad, next week is October already.
Ooh, Casher Coffee time.
Casher Coffee next week. That's right. So it's going to be an anything goes kind of week. So we'd love to hear your feedback. Tell us, where on earth should we place a geocache? I mean, not a geocache, a virtual geocache.
Virtual.
Yeah. So give us some feedback. That's all we got. So closing the show is so easy now. You ready?
You're ready.
I'm going to close the show.
Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available wherever you find your favorite podcast. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click that subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $5, you will get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/thegeocachingpodcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cachly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Art and Crafted, PatTags.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
And we're clear. That's all we got. So Jim RKW, I had to read this comment like 5 times. Jim says, playing that world famous game, Cash or Coffee, where contestants will be shown pictures and have to answer that question. I was like, oh, wait, is that a game? Who plays that game? Where am I going to find that? Like, I that would be cool. I think we need to do that. Is this Cash or Coffee? I think it would be cool to come up with some sort of game like that. We show a picture. All right, we're going to do this for our patrons. I'm going to figure this out. We're going to show a picture. And then you're going to have to name that cache.
Ooh.
Actually, that would be really kind of fun.
Ooh.
Oh, name that cache.
There's enough famous caches
Oh,
out there that people would recognize the caches. And
Definitely. Yep, definitely. We might have to like blur out the GC number that's printed on the side of the ammo can.
Mhm.
But I think that's a fun game. Okay, we're gonna have to come up with that. Maybe we'll have a bonus patron show one of these weeks, and we'll play Name That Cache.
Maybe, yeah.
That'd be fun. Scott's so mad at me right now. He's like, "Oh my god, you're crazy.
You're making
Work
work.
with me." He's so mad. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, the ultimate GCPC trivia game. That would be fun. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Bye.